Hey everyone, Dennis Caye here with Belize Islands Real Estate. This is part two of a video series I'm doing about these Pandora papers that was recently talked about in the news, making news all over the world. And there's a lot of things in here that relate to what my clients are looking to do. That is move offshore, move some money offshore, invest offshore, all very above board, very legal. And there are different ways to do this and making sure you're within the realms of the law, but also protecting your assets and buying and investing responsibly. But in this part two, I just want to take away a few of the more um, things that I found from this article here in CNN. This article came out on October 4th, I believe, just yesterday or 2 days ago, about the 5 takeaways from the Pandora Papers. And if we just look at the first couple paragraphs, it says more than 600 journalists from 150 outlets spent 2 years investigating nearly 12 million confidential files. All right. So 12 million confidential files. And according to this article right here, read this. Here are the 5 biggest takeaways, right, from the series. All right. So the 5 big things that they discovered. Now, in the last video, I shared with you what they discovered on ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair, where he avoided paying $423,000 in stamp duty legally because he purchased the offshore company that owned the commercial building that him and his wife bought to house, it looks like, Sherry Blair's law firm. All right. And again, he did this legally. It says right here, doing so was legal, but it allowed them to avoid paying stamp duty. All right, they didn't avoid paying stamp duty. The fact is there was no stamp duty on the sale, on the purchase, because of the way it was structured. The same way we often do things in Belize, completely above board. Everyone knows what's going on. The Belize government is aware of all this. They're the ones who set up the laws in the first place that allow this to be done. So if you want to know more about that, go check out my previous video. But here's the other thing I wanted to share with you, the one just above. The Czech prime minister, don't know anything about this guy or his politics or anything like that. But it says that he's a businessman who is worth 3.4 billion, according to Bloomberg. All right. And what it mentions here is that they found that he had purchased a property in the French Riviera. All right, let me see where it's at. Here we go. So he moved some of his money around secretly, it says, secretly moved 23 million through offshore companies to purchase an estate on the French Riviera in 2009 before he entered politics. All right, so 2009, what was that? So that was 12 years ago. He looks like he legally purchased an estate in the French Riviera for 22 million. It says he secretly moved it around. I don't know what he's supposed to do. What he's supposed to do, just kind of make it public that he's doing this. Anyway, he's worth 3.4 billion, and it says here that he failed to let's see, he failed to put this, that he owns this property after he entered politics. So this was his fault here. So he owns it. Doesn't say that he did anything illegal, anything wrong or unlawful right here, but just that he failed to say that he owns this this property in the French Riviera. So he's worth 3.4 billion. He purchased a $22 million chateau. I'd love to look it up. I should have done that for this video, see what it looks like. But if we do the math, he's worth 3.4 billion. He bought a $22 million property, which is 0.65% of his net worth. Now imagine if you have 3.4 billion, how many different banks, corporations, companies you must own in order to physically house that 3.4 billion. So there was a 0.65% of his net worth that wasn't reported that he had owned. And again, I don't know the details on this. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but anyways, so that was his crime. And if it's true, that then his crime is hiding the fact that he owns this $22 million property when he's worth 3.4 billion. All right, now putting that in perspective, for those of you who are buying and investing in Belize, a lot of you are taking advantage of these properties in and around Palmyra Woods, Grand Belizean Estates, And a lot of you are paying around $35 to $45,000 for these properties. So imagine that your net worth is $5.5 million. All right. So if you have a net worth of 5.5 million, then you probably have several bank accounts. You own properties. You probably own properties in different companies. You probably own different companies. You're probably very financially savvy. All right. So what is one of those lots worth to you? Well, again, 0.65% of your net worth would be 35,000. So this is kind of putting things in perspective. Anyway, that's just my little rant for today. Why am I saying all this? Well, because in the Pandora papers, they talk a lot about these offshore accounts. Let me just go back to the first paragraph, because I want to talk to you about a good offshore bank in Belize. All right, so it talks about exposing the financial secrets and offshore dealings. All right, it's almost like that's a bad thing. Going offshore, doing business offshore. You know, the entire world global economy is based on doing business offshore. The United States, look at the billions and trillions of dollars of goods and services they receive from other nations such as China. Look at, I mean, the whole global economy works together. We are buying and investing offshore in one way or another every single day. But this makes it seem like just having an offshore account is something that is secretive or manipulative, or we're doing this for nefarious purposes, or we want to get involved in illegal activities. That's farthest from the truth. In fact, look at this bank right here. Caye Bank, Caye International Bank, is a bank that I highly recommend. They have an office right in San Pedro, so just south of San Pedro. They have an office in a beautiful building, and go in there and talk to these guys, or send them an email. Tell them Dennis Caye sent you. And this is an offshore account that you can open up as a foreigner, so European, North American, Canadian, American, whatever it is, and you can hold funds in this bank. And if we go to the accounts here, it mentions some of the benefits of doing so. For example, go to accounts, go to compare accounts. And so, for example, it says demand deposits. All right. Unlimited flexibility with transfers to and from your Caye Bank account, which offers a competitive interest rate. All right. So you can hold funds in US dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, British pounds. I believe the CHF is Switzerland. All right. So you have a little application fee. You have a FATCA fee if applicable, which is because as Americans, or it's open to Americans, and you have a minimum opening balance. Then you have savings accounts, you have term deposits. There's all sorts of things. This company actually is one of the companies that offers loans on properties in Belize. Talk to them more about specifics on that. And this is a great way for you guys to put some money offshore and kind of spread out your nest egg, so to speak. So have some money in the US or Canada, have some money in Belize with Caye International Bank. If you want to take it a step further, you can also open up a local Belize dollar account, not at Caye Bank, but maybe at Belize Bank or one of the other banks. So, for example, if you move to Belize, you become a resident, now you're doing business there, you're living there full time, have a bank account where you have some Belize dollars. Nothing wrong with that, right? Why would it be wrong to have a bank account with some Belize dollars in it that you're used to paying for your utilities and other expenses in Belize? So there's a lot of information on this out there. And if you want to know more for your specific needs, you're going to have to find someone that deals with your area, your part of the world. So for example, if you're looking at investing in Belize as an American, I have some referrals for you that you might want to contact, reach out to them, see how best to structure your investments. Canada, that's different. Europe, that's different. But I would really highly suggest you look up someone who is qualified in international tax planning and international tax attorney. So that way you don't get yourself in any trouble like some of these who are called out in the Pandora papers for avoiding stamp tax, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because what I suggest everyone do is whatever you owe, whatever the law says, then you obey the law, because then you don't have to worry about the shoe dropping. You don't have to worry about, what ifs, right? What if somebody finds out? So whatever the law is, do what the law says. But if the law makes it available for you to have a lower tax burden or to do something else that benefits you and your family, why not? All right, guys, that's part 2. I'm going to be doing probably another part 3 today. I'm gathering some more information, but I hope you found this helpful. If you want to jump on a Zoom call with me, then shoot me an email at the link below. But just know that Steph and I are leaving on Friday for a 3-week trip through the beautiful country of Turkey. We're going to spend a week on a yacht with friends and then tour the interior, going to Ephesus, Izmir, where else we're going? Cappadocia, Istanbul, and we're really looking forward to that. So because of this 3-week trip, we're not taking any appointments for Zoom calls starting tomorrow. But after we get back, be happy to set up something with you to talk about your plans for Belize. All right, thanks a lot. You guys take care. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.